All right, we are in business. Um, so let me give you a tour of what we got going on. So this is the new boiler room, and behind me we have the functioning boiler, and right here we have the switch. This is going to be a light switch. This is the switch for the entire boiler system. So whenever it catches on fire in 20 years, you don't have to run over close to it. That's what happened. I'm joking. That's what happened with our old boiler, as it was on fire, and I was glad to be able to turn it off quickly. So you can hear it running, and you can hear splashing of water. That's condensate going over in here into this bucket. So I haven't run a condensate line to a drain yet, so it's just dumping into the bucket. This is very cool water. It's actually fairly acidic, so it will need to be treated. You just get some limestone or shells or something like that and put it in a bucket, and that'll take care of it. You can spend a lot of money on the treatment system. I'm not going to do that. So this is the boiler functioning. That's on, and you can see the dial, and it is heating up. So right now the water has gotten to 112 degrees. I'm shooting for 120. It's just slowly ramps up until it gets all the way to temperature. So I can feel the pipes getting quite warm. So it definitely feels like it's in the 110 range. I got to know the feel of different temperatures whenever I was running the temporary heat system, because it has a visual indicator on it of what the temperature is. So I've got to know it by feel pretty well. Here is the pump. I'll turn the display on. So the pump, so we're running at 7 to 8 gallons per minute. I'm in a constant speed mode right now. I will be playing with all the different settings. There's a delta T setting on this thing that I haven't hooked up the sensors yet for that, but this is my pressure and temperature gauge. The temperature gauge appears to be broken because it's not showing the right temperature of the supply of water. This is the supply side. The pressure gauge is working. So we're running a little high, actually. It's in the mid 20s. I'm not sure why that is. I'm not sure if that's expected. It's something I'm going to investigate. This gauge also says, what's it say? Yeah, it says below 20 on this side. So we have this is the supply here. This is the Sentry. It's called the Sentry valve is the model name. But this thing is an electrical valve, and it runs to a thermostat wire that connects to a power supply here. Here's all my power wiring stuff. This thermostat comes on whenever the thermostat calls for heat. Right now I have it jumpered. So right now, right there are those wire nuts. It's just constantly calling for heat. It's not connected to any thermostat right now. I will, of course, add a thermostat on it later, but I didn't want to delay turning the heat on because it needs to run all night. The house is very cold. It's 22 degrees outside right now. The first floor is like 55 degrees. Everybody's got space heaters in the bedrooms, so everybody's comfortable, but I'm going to be heating the house up all night long, so I figure might as well just run it all night. 120 degrees is a pretty low temperature. So here's where the water comes in. This is a combination backflow preventer and a pressure regulator valve. It is also reading about 20 psi. The water connection is up all the way up here. There's a valve up there. Here's where the gas comes in. Showed that the other day. This down here is a magnetic filter, so all the return water goes through that, and it will collect magnetic particles, ferrous particles. I have one tiny leak, so I'm gonna have to take this part apart, so you can see it leaking pretty good. It's actually leaking right there. This part here is where it's leaking. So it's the connection to this vent. This is the air vent. which is an important part. It removes air from the system. I got valves everywhere, as you can see. So the water goes out this orange pipe. The supply, these are drains if I ever want to drain a zone by itself without draining the whole system. These are for future zones when I add more radiators to the house, which I'm definitely doing later. And then the water goes to the radiators and then comes back. Here's the return side here, and it's much cooler because it's the return water, so it's had a chance to cool off because it's putting heat into the house. So it's coming back at, what is it coming back at? Let's see. This temperature gauge is actually working, so it's coming back at about 90 degrees now. So we have a temperature drop of, let's see here, 25 right now, 25 degrees, because it's at 124. It's 114. So the boiler is still heating up. So it's a pretty good leak. I'm gonna have to. So if I had to choose a place for it to leak, this is probably one of the better places, because all I have to do is shut a bunch of valves off, undo this union, and then shut this valve off. Let's see where else. Well, that's actually kind of unfortunate. I don't have a valve on this side. What is that going to mean? I guess I can shut my return valve off, and then the boiler will lose some water, but everything else will stay full. So that'll be a messy day. That'll be a messy day. What else? It's just very exciting. I went ahead and already went up to the radiators, and the ones that heat up first, that tend to heat up first, are already getting warm. Like I said, the thermostat upstairs was reading 55 degrees on the first floor, pretty chilly. And it would have continued to go down all night long, of course. Everyone would have woken up to even less, probably. And there's probably a lot more I could say about this thing, but here I'll go up here and show you this little top bit here. This is the low water cutoff system. So this guy, it's looking to make sure that the boiler system doesn't get low water. This is the emergency relief valve in case it gets above 30 psi, which it shouldn't. This is a little air bleed valve where it should just squirt water. It shouldn't have any air. Yes, it just squirts water. So there's no air in there. This is just a cap. These are optional. These connections, you can have the supply and return come out the top or the bottom, either one. It works just as well. What are we reading now on the gauge? 118. We're almost all the way to temperature. We're at 116. It dropped a little bit. That's interesting. And what else do we have? Hiding back here, this is a bypass valve. What this guy does is it connects the supply side, so you can kind of see here. Back here, there we go. This is the supply side that goes over back to the pump. All loops around here to the pump. To the return side, it's really hard to see. So that connects the return and the supply directly to each other, which normally water doesn't flow through there. But if the pressure gets high enough, the difference in pressure between these two gets high enough, then this valve will open up. There's a spring in there. Some kind of, let's see here, some kind of noise on the pump. Why is it making that noise? Don't like that noise. Sounds like there's air in there or something. Another thing to investigate. But this thing opens up whenever there's too much of a differential in pressure, and the purpose of that is to make sure that the boiler doesn't experience too low of a flow of water going through it, because it can be damaged if that happens. But anyway, that's what's going on. We got a good situation going here. Water's That feels like a 120. Yeah, it's at 118. 119. At 118. And oh, this is the expansion tank. That's what this guy is. So this helps regulate the pressure in the whole system to be the same pressure all the time at this location. So anyway, that's what we got going on. I got a couple things to address. I got a leak here. Pressure seems to be running a little bit higher than it should. It's getting close to 30, so that's not good. So I got something to investigate, and this pump is making a noise I don't like. So I've got a few things to look at yet, but here's where this is the circuit where I don't have a plate on it yet because I didn't have one. I gotta go to the store and buy one. This is where the whole boiler plugs in. All that turns off if I turn the switch by the door off. So anyway, this is it. We have heat in the house. Still a lot to do yet, but the house is heated, and that has been the goal. Thanks.